Yesterday, we mostly covered everything about lists, right? Yesterday, we talked about numbers initially, but mostly yesterday's session was on list, how to create list, how to use list, how to add element, remove element, how to access different element of list, slicing, indexing, everything about list, right? And I hope you all have done the assignments. I will upload the assignment solutions on the weekend so that you can check it later and you can
So
try
can
out.
anyone hear me?
Yeah. Okay.
Hello?
So yes, tell me. Can you go on mute, please? Okay. So today we are going to cover the next data structure. So we had list. Today we are going to discuss about tuple. Okay. It will be a quick one, and then we will move on to the dictionaries. So tuple is very similar to list, right? So for example, when we created our first list yesterday, so we said just 1, comma 2, comma 3. This is our list. A is a list which has 3 elements, right? Now, if you are going to create tuple, so lists are created in a square brackets. They are represented by square brackets, but tuples with round brackets. So if I execute this, A will become a tuple. Let's see. So, okay, so this is my A. And if I say type A, so I'm going to check what is the type of A. So it is saying class tuple. So A is an object of class tuple. Okay. It looks very similar to list. The main difference between list and tuple is tuples are immutable, right? Tuples are immutable. That is the main difference between list and tuples. So once you created a tuple, you cannot modify any element of the tuple. So for example, just like strings, right? So if I want to assign some new value, let's say at index 1, I want to put 5, right? I was able to do it in list, right? Index 1 will become 5. Okay. But here see, PyCharm is giving you already a warning. Tuples don't support the item assignment. And even if I run it, it gives me error. Tuple object does not support item assignment, right? So you cannot modify tuples, right? So if you have a requirement that the element should not be modified, then tuples is the solution. For example, let's say for some stock, you want to store the last 30 days of stock price, right? Whatever was the price, it is the price. You don't want to change it, right? Because it is a fact that last 30 days, these were the prices. So you don't want to change it at any point. Then you can use tuple, right? But other things you can do, for example, slicing, indexing. So for example, if I want to access the first element of tuple, we can access just like we do in list, right? We can do indexing as well, right? This all works. But if you want to extend tuple or whatever we discuss, right? Extend operation, insert operation, pop operation, that all will not work at all because it is immutable. So you cannot play with the elements or extend it or remove anything, right? You can assign a new value to the same variable. That is fine. That we saw with the lists as well, right? For example, if I want to do this, I can do this. Not at all a problem. But okay, so A is a new tuple, right? Again, if I check type of tuple, type of data type, it is tuple. Okay, so pretty much same like list. The only thing you have to remember is it is immutable. Okay, nothing much about tuple. That's it. Okay, okay. Great. Any doubt in tuple?
Oh, sorry, Ankit, one quick
One quick question, Ankit. So in list we saw many inbuilt functions, right? So
Yeah.
I mean, can we use all those functions in tuples as well, or like do we have I mean separate inbuilt function for
Same
tuples?
same functions will work. The only thing, if the function is modifying the list or the
Ah,
tuple,
okay.
it will not work because they are immutable.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay.
Even that extends function also not available, right?
Yeah, because it is modifying your tuple, right?
Okay.
It will not work.
Split would work, right?
Split will work, I think. Split will
And
create a new dictionary. Sorry, split is to create the list, right? Split
Okay.
is works on a string, so it is not a tuple function anyway. I mean, nor it is a list function.
Mhm.
variable can be same. Like here you defined A as 1, 2, 3, and again A as CSK and MI.
Mm-hmm. So it will override basically, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it will override. It is true for any data type or variable. If you assign value again, it will just override the previous value.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, Ankit. Hello.
Yeah, yeah.
In the
Go ahead.
string, yeah, in the string is also immutable. So there we assign like city is equal to city dot uppercase, like we have used that. So
Mm-hmm.
can we do here anything like a is equal to a dot one
No,
is equal to in place of CSK we can keep anything.
no. You cannot change first of all at all anything.
Yes, but in the strings
So
also we have done that. That is also immutable, right?
yeah, but that is like it is not modifying the string, right? It is just giving you an output. So for example, ACSK, right? If I do A dot upper, so it is giving you CSK in upper letter. But if you see A is still a small CSK. A is not modified, but the list operations that we saw, those were all in place, right? Because lists are immutable.
So can we assign like a is equal to a dot upper? Can it
No,
replace or
that is a
no?
string function. Upper
That
is a
is
string function. Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Okay, great.
Even pop
Let's
will not work for tuple, right?
sorry.
Pop pop will not work for tuple, right?
No, no.
No.
Anything which modifies will not work.
Okay. Thank you.
Ankit, but we can convert this to list and then change, right?
Yeah, then you can do. Yeah,
I think
once it
only
is this, then you can do anything.
only count and index supported in tuple.
Yeah, right.
If possible, can you show the two example of count and index?
Index we saw, right? A0.
Yeah.
Right. So A is okay. Let me run this again. I think I showed it already. We can see again. So it is showing CSK. I can slice also, just like strings.
Can you show
Okay.
how we convert tuple to list?
You can just type list. I think that should work. List
Okay.
and A. It is converted to list. So you can assign it to some other variable and it is a list now. See square brackets.
Okay.
You can try these things. That is fine. There will be a lot of things, right? And we can discuss in the doubts if anything. Okay. Okay. So we are moving on to the next data structure called dictionaries. So let's revisit our IPL list where we mentioned all the team names, right? CSK, MI, and let's say RCB. Okay, so we have three elements in this list which are IPL teams. Now let's say along with the team abbreviation, I want to store the full name as well, right? So I want to store CSK and also I want to store that CSK represents Chennai Super Kings, MI is Mumbai Indians, RCB is Royal Challenger Bangalore, right? Now, if I have to do with list, how I will do it? So maybe I will create a list of list. So what I will do, I will say I will create one more within that list and I will put two elements and say Chennai Super Kings, right? and this become my first element, right? Similarly for mi, I will do mi, and second element will be Mumbai Indians. Okay, and similarly for RCB. So I will have to create list of list, right? Which is fine, not an issue, right? So I will say Royal Challenge Bangalore. Okay. Now at any point of time, if any point of time I want to see, let's say my question is, what is the full form of CSK? How I will find out? What I have to do, I have to go to the first element, check what is the value. If it is CSK, then I will put the second value in this list, right? So what I will do, I will say, let's run this. Okay. So no, something is not right. Okay.
Bracket is not yeah.
No, this was not. No, still not fine. Do you guys see any issue in this?
I think we have to same was copied. The same above one was copied. I think.
I think
Sorry?
give the space.
Instead of comma, we can do colon.
No.
Make
we
it
have
as
to
one
use
by
Just
PS.
Control C and do it again.
Ankit, same variable name we have because of that.
that should be fine, I think. It's not giving me prompt.
So it is
no.
copying the earlier one, I think.
Previous, yeah, there's a quote next to the super
Maybe for
queries.
dictionary.
I think
It
it's
is
working.
anyway
Mutable,
from
right?
the line.
List is mutable.
Ankit, close the console and open it again.
I think it's working. It's not giving any error. Let's check.
No, so it is giving me the prompt, right?
Yeah, can you come out of that by Control C or Control Z?
In console after Chennai Super Kings, after the bracket it's showing.
Tuple object, okay. It is a tuple actually. I would have created a tuple. That's why it is giving me error. Is it? No.
For dictionary, we have to use flower bracket.
Bracket, yeah, bracket.
Actually, you are assigning A1 equals to 5. That's right.
That is fine. Okay, I fixed that. Let's run it again. Okay, it is fine, right? I don't know why it was giving that issue. So the thing is, the prompt is not coming after running.
Exactly. You can close the console and try to open it.
Ankit, can you once keep the cursor near IPL at the 11th line?
Mm-hmm. So I'm just selecting it and running it. Some issue is there in this.
There is a codes issue at the Chennai Super Kings.
Better we start console.
That was previous.
Check the bulb symbol. Okay, it is trying to say something. Once you keep your hover over there, right, it will show you a bulb symbol. Light bulb on top in the Python. It will tell you different. It will show some issue.
It is just a warning. Just a warning. That's not an issue. I think something wrong in this. So let's see. Let me remove this one.
No, Ankit, the thing is you have to come out of that line, right? In the console, Control C or Control Z. If you press, then again you can run the IPL command. Yeah, now you can run.
Yeah. Okay. 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 So this is my IPL team for now. Okay. Sorry about that interruption. So now if I want to see what is the full form of CSK, so what I have to do? I have to go to the each element. So I will go IPL 0. Okay. So this is my list. And then I will check what is the first element of the new list, right? And if it is CSK, then I will take the second element of the same, right? this is the activity I have to do. If I have to find out what is the full form of CSK, now CSK can be anywhere on the 0, 1, 2, 3, any index, right? So first I have to find out where is CSK available, right? So I have to see, okay, IPL 0 and then 0 is CSK. So which means I can take the first element of the second element of first index, right? So then it is Chennai Super Kings, right? Let's say I want to store the capital name also, right? So I will have to store one more value here, right? But the only problem is if I have to find anything, right, related to CSK or MI, I have to iterate through the list, each element until I find that one, right? So if I want to store something, related to key pair values, like I want to reference to MI and all the details of MI. I want to reference to CSK, all the reference of CSK, right? In that case, lists are not so good, right? We have to look through it, iterate through it. That's where the dictionaries come into picture. In dictionaries, we can create key value pair. Okay. So let's see how we can do it. So I'll say IPL. So if you remember, our list are square brackets, tuples are round brackets, and dictionaries are flower brackets. So this goes into flower brackets. The moment I say this, it will be a dictionary. So let's create an empty dictionary first. If I check the type of IPL, you see it is a of class dictionary. DIC is dictionary. Okay. Now let's start adding elements. So in dictionary, it is a key value pair, which means you have to give a key and value of it. So I will give in for this example CSK, and I'm saying the value is Chennai Super Kings, right? Okay, so this is my first element. Now again, I can give second element, just comma, and then give the second element. So I will give RCB colon. So key value pair are separated by colon. And then I will say, or let's say Mumbai. And this we have MI and Mumbai Indians. Okay. And let's run this. Okay. So this is done. Again, just we want to check the type of IPL. This dictionary. Okay. So this is a new dictionary created. And if I print the IPL again, you will see it is an key value pair. So it is starting with flower brackets, CSK, Chennai Super King, MI, Mumbai. Right. Now let's say I want to access CSK. Guys, please go on mute. So if you want to check the full name of CSK, how you have to access elements in dictionary, you just say IPL and then in square brackets, the key. So this is your key. CSK and MI are keys, right? So if you pass the key, it will just give the value. It is giving you right? So this is key value. In the dictionary, you pass the key, it will give you the value, right? If I do IPL MI, it will give you Mumbai Indians, right? Simple. Now, if you want to add more elements, so this dictionary I created, right? Let's say I want to create more elements. So now dictionaries, just like list, are mutable, right? You can add elements, you can remove elements, you can modify elements. So dictionaries are mutable. So now let's say I want to add one more. So how do I add a new value? So what I will do, I will say IPL, right? And say GT, right? Gujarat Lions and Gujarat Lions, and I will say Gujarat Titans, sorry. And say Gujarat Titans, right? What I'm saying, add a key, new key, and the value will be this one. Okay. If I run this now, it's done. And if I look at the dictionary again, I have one more key value pair, right? CSK Chennai Super Kings, MI, GT, right? So simple. If you want to add a new element, you can just provide the key and the value, and it will be added. Okay. Now, if I want to, what if I assign a value to the existing element, right? I will say CSK is equal to, let's say, just Chennai. What will happen? It will just override it. So this is how you modify a value for a key, right? Because they are mutable, you can just assign the new value. So if it is an existing element, it will modify the existing value. If it is a new key, then it will add a new element, right? If I run this again and check the IPL, you see the value is now modified. CSK is Sydney, MI is Mumbai Indians, GT is Gujarat. Okay, very simple to operate with dictionaries. Okay, now the third thing is, let's say I want to delete an element, right? Let's say I don't want change CSK now. So simple, I can say delete and the dictionary, and within that the key. So you always have to refer to the key, right? If you want to do any operation. So I'm saying I don't want CSK, just remove CSK. Delete IPL CSK. So it will just remove the CSK key of IPL. So if I run this and check IPL again, see CSK is not there, only MI and GT. Okay. If you want to check the length function works with almost everything. So it will say there are two elements in IPL. Okay. Now, as we were discussing, let's say I want to store more information about each team. So we are just storing Chennai Super Kings, just the name, but I want to store, let's say, captain also, who is the captain, and let's say other things, right? So we can create a, just like we created nested list, right? List under list. This is a nested list. We can create nested dictionaries as well. So for example, let's go here.
Ankit, can we edit key value? Key? Like name of the key?
So key will be like, if you cannot change it, right? You either delete it or add it.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's say I want to add more information. So what I can do, I can create a nested dictionary. So what I will say, so this is my key, and value, in the value I will give multiple values, right? So let me remove this, and I will create one more dictionary here. And here I will say the name of the team is Chennai Super Kings, right? So this is my first key value pair, and I want to store the captain also. So I will say captain, right? And then MST, right? So this becomes a new dictionary. Within the dictionary, so if I check the value of CSK, I will get a new dictionary in return, right? Similarly, let's do it for Mumbai Indians. So let's copy this, paste it, and this will be Mumbai Indians. And this will be okay. Let's run our IPL dictionary again. This is done. Let's look at the dictionary. So dictionary, if you see,
Is it mandatory, Ankit, to nest both the items?
no, I was coming to it. Yeah, it is not necessary, right? So this is your new team now. CSK, name, captain. MI, name, captain. I will add more elements, but let's see how we can access now the different elements, right? So let's say I want to see the details of CSK now. I will say IPL and then CSK. It will give me another dictionary, right? This is another dictionary. You can check the type of this. So yesterday I also explained that what is returning is important, right? So it is still a dictionary, so that it means I can still do dictionary operations on top of it. So I will say IPL CSK. Now within that, I want the captain. So I will just again type another key. I want captain, right? And so I got MST. Right now I can add as many attributes of CSK now. So name, captain, owner, city, whatever I want to add, I can add, right? Because this is a key and this is a full value, right? So I can just access anything using the keys, just a CSK and then within that, right? Now it is not necessary that all the elements should have same structure. So for example, I can add one more and let's say RCB, and I will just keep the name. I'm not keeping the captain. It is absolutely fine. Right. Let's run it again. Again, some missing. Okay, comma is missing here. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so again, look at the IPL. So we don't have, if we look at this dictionary, we have just for RCB, we have just a name. We don't have a captain. And it is absolutely fine, right? So if I just access RCB, I have name. Now, if I want to access anything which is not there, so for example, if I want to access, let's say here we don't have a captain, right? And if I type this, it will give me error, right? Key error. Captain is not there, right? So if key is not there, it will give you error, right? So simply if I just say LSG, now it is not there. CSKMI RCB is there, so it will give me key error. Key error LSG is not there, right? So this is a very good way of, list and dictionaries are very, very important. We will be, day in, day out, if you work on Python, you will be using them. Very powerful, both of them. Both of them are mutable, right? And especially when we run, we will discuss loops actually, maybe today or next session. And we can run loops over these data structures, list, dictionaries, tuples, and that you will see the power of, these data structures. Okay. Yeah.
Can you summarize? Can you briefly summarize the list, tuple, and dictionary?
Can I summarize list and? Sorry, I didn't get you.
Briefly summarize the data type that explained. List, tuple, and dictionary.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'll just go over it. But in dictionary, if anyone has any doubt, we can just cover it. In dictionary, I think that is all we needed
if I
to
want
learn.
to add GT between CSK and MI, can I do that?
It doesn't matter. Order doesn't matter there, right? Because it is by key. It is not that you are accessing the index 0, 1, 2, then it matters, right? You are accessing it by key. So order doesn't matter in dictionary.
Duplicate entry is allowed?
No, if you again, duplicate entries are not allowed. If you again do some assignment to RCB, it will just override the value, right?
Okay.
And key should be unique. Key cannot repeat. If you repeat it, then it doesn't make sense, right? It will give you two values. So dictionaries keys should be unique. It cannot repeat.
Okay, can dictionaries hold list?
Yeah, dictionaries can hold list. Okay, good point.
Like after captain, if we have players, so players can be 11 players, right? So that can be
right.
Put in.
That can be done. Or not just that, the keys can also be some other data type. So for example, I can just say 1, right? 1. And if I run this, right? So if you see, it has taken, there's no error. So if I say IPL 1, sorry.
IPL 1 of 1.
IPL, no. IPL, it is 1, right?
Variable is
IPL 1. Variable name is IPL 1 or.
Oh,
variable name is IPL.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah. So we are getting name changes in Super King and Captain MST, right? So this key can be anything and value can be anything, right? Now there is only one catch, right? So whatever keys are there, you can give only the values which are immutable, right? The key cannot be a list. Key can be a tuple. So for example, I can just give a tuple as a key, right? And if I run this, okay. So if I again run the previous one, IPL 1 and then say 1 comma 2, right? And it is absolutely fine, right? My key and value can be any data type, but the key cannot be a list, right? Because lists are mutable. So if you modify the list, then it becomes a problem, right? Because you cannot change a key as such. So you cannot give list as a key. Otherwise, as a value, you can give. So you can give, let's say, there were two captains, right? Let's say MSD and let's say Jadeja, right? And if I want to run this now, let's give it a proper value. Okay, this is absolutely fine. Now let's again IPL 1. Yes. This is my this one, and then I will go to captain. Right, this will give me captain. Now you see the return type is list. Once it is list, then you can apply the list indexing or whatever list operations, right? So you can have any data structure within the data structure, right? But the structure should be maintained. It should be key and then value, key and then value. And this value can be anything. It can be another dictionary. It can be another list. It can be a tuple. It is all fine.
Thanks. Thank you.
Hey Ankit.
Yeah.
Do dictionaries support slicing?
What they support?
Slicing?
No, it is key value pair. It is not a ordered thing. So list and tuples are ordered, index 0, 1, 2, 3, and that's why you can do slicing. And you access only by the key value, right? So there's no concept of indexing and slicing with the dictionaries.
So can I get the values of two keys at the same time? Is that possible?
No, you will have to access one by one.
One by one? Okay.
Yeah.
But Ankit, if there is a situation, let's say there's a dictionary created and I want final a data frame or a table where I want MSD Jadeja underscore Rohit, let's say, then how will I do that?
So you want a separate columns, you are saying?
Yeah, a separate column maybe. Or if, for example, I have a dictionary in which I have age and I want age in CSK as well as age in MI, and I want sum of two ages, sum of ages of CSK as well as MI, or maybe age CSK.
So we will have to run through the loops basically. We can do through the iteration. Okay.
Okay,
We will
that
see.
will be covered. Okay, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ankit, here we have used delete function instead of pop. So here pop function doesn't work.
No, pop is a list one. It is a list. Pop. So there are different methods for each class, right? So it is not necessarily that that method will be available for all the classes. Right? Pop is especially only for list actually. Okay.
Ankit, can we convert list to dictionary?
So how you will convert? I mean, again, we can do it, but you should have some logic of it, right? Once you learn a loop, lot of these questions will be answered actually. Okay. We can convert. We can convert list to dictionaries. Okay. Great.
Ankit, pop works for dictionary as well.
Pop works for dictionary?
Yeah.
Maybe in latest version, but as far as I remember, it doesn't work. Pop is there. Okay. Pop is there. I think in the latest version of Python, it has come. Otherwise, it was only key earlier. So let's try it out. RCB. RCB is not defined. Okay.
IPL 1.
IPL is also there. Yeah. Pop is working. Yeah. I take my words back. Yeah. POP is working for dictionaries. So if I look back the IPL and RCB is not there. Yeah. And it is working in the same way. So whatever is popped, it is returning that. Right? So yeah, pop works. Yeah, pop works. Great. This is good. Okay, you want to see what all the functions are there? You can just, so IPL is a dictionary. So the moment you press dot, it will show you all the methods, right? And you can just try out all the method, what it does. Okay, great. So let's move on to our next topic. So next topic we are going to discuss is control flow. Okay, so we talked about different data types, right? We talked about
Before you
yeah.
Can you summarize those three things?
Yeah. So basically, just to summarize, the list is dominated by square brackets, right? And we can have as many elements in the list. It can be of different data types. We can create list of list, and it supports indexing and slicing, right? You can just say 0, 1, 2, and you can slice elements. So this is a ordered element. It is a collection of elements list, right? Similarly, tuple is also very similar to list. It is just that tuples are immutable and you have to put them in the round brackets. So this is a tuple, this is a list. It works very similar to list, indexing, slicing, everything. The only thing is it is mutable, it is immutable. And these are ordered, like indexes 0, 1, 2, 3. You can access using the index values. But dictionaries are key value pairs. Dictionaries are key value pairs. And you using flower brackets. And in this, we have a key and a value. So I have to provide a key and its value. And it should be commas, colon separated, right? So this is my first key value. I want to give one more, just comma and one more. And likewise, you can provide so many key value pairs. And similar to list, where we have list within list, nested list, you can create a nested dictionaries as well. For example, here we created, so CSK, the value of IPL1 CSK will be this full, which is a dictionary again. And you can again go inside this dictionary and access the elements, right? And you can add element to a dictionary by using assignment, simple assignment. You can delete using pop or delete keyword. So there are multiple options, two options to delete a keyword or delete a key, right? And if you want to change the value, it is simple. You have to just assign a new value. For example, IPL CSK Chennai, then it will give a new value, right? Because they are mutable, you can assign a new value. And the keys of a dictionary can be anything except list. It can be a floating number, it can be integer, it can be a tuple, anything, right? It can be a string. But the key cannot be a list. It will give you error that we cannot have list as a key of a dictionary. Okay. So this is all and all list and dictionaries. We will work a lot on list and dictionaries in the future sessions once we start working on loops, functions. These are the core data structures, list and dictionaries, and it will be very, very important to understand them. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ankit.
Yeah.
Ankit, we don't use set.
Sorry?
Set.
Yeah, are we going to cover sets in future? Or
Yeah, set we will cover. We will cover later.
Okay.
Set is a quick one, but I want to cover it later with something else. Okay. Okay. So now let's move on to the control flow. So let's say, yeah. So we were discussing about the data types. So we discussed strings, we discussed numbers, and then we said there is a Boolean type also, right? So Boolean type is like if I compare something, so let's say 1 equal to 1, right? So it returns true. So this is a Boolean type. The type of this is Boolean. So if I just check type, it will say class bool. So it is of class Boolean, right? Now I can, if I do any comparison, it will return me true or false. So for example, if I say 1 greater than 2, right? It is returning false, right? Because it is not true. So any comparison will return you a Boolean type, right? Now with this, we can have AND and OR conditions as well. So I can say 1 equal to 1 or 2 equal to 2, right? It means if this condition is true or this condition is true, it will return true, right? In our case, both are true. So let's make it something else. 2 equal to 3. Now, if you see, this is a false condition, right? 2 is not equal to 3. But this is true. But all operator means if any one of this is true, it will return true, right? If I just change this 1 equal to 2, then it will return false because neither of them is true. So if anyone is true, it will return true, right? Similar to OR, we have a AND as well. So I can say AND. AND means both the conditions should be true, right? So here, if you see, this is false, this is true, but it will return false, right? It has to be 1 equal to 1, then it will return true. Okay, so if you have to satisfy both the conditions, then you will use AND. If you have to satisfy any one of the condition, then you will use OR. And you can use as many conditions as you want. You can have another one. There's no limit that there has to be 2, right? So 3 equal to 3, right? If I do multiple with OR, which means if anyone satisfied out of all those, then it will be true, right? Let me make it this, let me make it this. If you see only this condition satisfy, other two are false, but it will return true because it is OR, right? So any comparison will return in true or false, which is a Boolean. Again, for list, let's say you have a list, right? So we have this IPL list, right? And if I want to see if there is any element, a key is there or not, right, in dictionary. So I can say CSK in IPL, right? So it is checking if this key is present in IPL or not, right? So it is returning true. If the key is not there, it will return a false. Again, this is a Boolean type, right? It works in our list also. So if I want to see if CSK is there in this list or not. Am I? So it is returning false. CSK1 is not there, right? If I do CSK, it is returning, right? So all the comparisons operator will result in true or false. And we can use this operations for creating a control flow using if-else statements. Okay, so let's start control flow using if-else, right? Now let's say you have a requirement that based on the marks, you want to assign a grade to a student, right? So what you want to assign is you want to say if the marks are between, or let's say less than 30, right? You want to say it is a fail, right? So you are taking, let's say you are taking a input from the user, the number of the marks, and you want to print based on the marks that if it is a fail or division third or 2 or first division, right? So I want to say less than 30 is fail, else it is a pass, right? This is what I want to print, right? How I will do. So I will say if, so this is how if works. If, let's say this is my marks. I'm storing my value in a marks variable. Marks equal to 30. Okay. I have 30 marks, or let's say 40. Okay. So I will say if marks is less than 30. Okay. If marks are less than 30. Now after that, I have to provide a colon, right? So whatever condition you give in if-else statement, you can give, and after that you have to give a colon, then enter. Now here, something very important, particular to Python, right? Whenever you give this control flow, if, right, you have to give a, tab is coming. I didn't do anything, right? I just pressed enter, and if you see, there is a white space, right? Tab, right? So after if, from the next line, you have to give everything in tab. That will be considered within if statement. The moment you come out of this tab, you are out of if statement. There is no end if. Like in many of the programming language, you have if and if. There's no and if here. It is just whatever you give within this with the tabs, right? Everything will be if statement. So let's see. So I will do print fail. Okay. And again, what I will do, print, I'm just printing a couple of things, right? Marks are, let's say marks, right? Okay, and I'm going to run this now. Okay, so I'm just running this portion. Marks equal to 40. I'm assigning a value. You can take from user as well. Anything is fine. And then I'm saying if marks is less than 30, right? It will check if marks is less than 30, then it will print fail, and it will also print the marks, whatever are the marks. Okay, to run it, and why did not print anything?
Because marks
Because it didn't
is less
satisfy
than
the
30.
condition.
Right. So what is happening? It is not going inside it. It is saying if marks is less than 30, then only these statements will be executed, right? My marks are 40. So let me make it 50. Okay. And if I run this now, you see fail and marks are 40. These two statements are executed. Now let me put a print outside. Print this is outside if. Okay. And if I run this now again, full program. So this is outside if is printed, right? Now, if I say again less than 30, right? And if I run this now again, you see this is outside if. So this is still printed because this is outside this if control flow, right? Even if it doesn't go inside it, right? Marks less than 30, no, marks are 40, it is not going inside, right? But the moment I come out of this white space, this tab, right? It is out of if statement. So anything with tabs will be considered that it is within if, and if it is outside, then it will anyway run. Okay. Now within if, you can have a else as well. So I can say else, right? Again colon, and then enter, right? Again, if you see, there is a tab, right? You can say print pass, let's say, right? So I'm saying if it is less than 30, then print fail, else print pass. Okay, and let's run it again. Okay, are we good?
Yeah.
Else pass, it printed pass because is it less than 30? No, it is greater than 30, so it will give an else. If condition is not satisfied, then it will give an else. So it is going in else and printing pass, and this anyway it will print because it is outside everything. So this will be anyway executed. Okay. Now again here you can give multiple conditions like we discussed and all, because this returns this statement, whatever you put after if should return a Boolean value. It should be either true, it should be either false or anything, right? So example, let's say we had the IPL team, right? And I can say if CSK in IPL, right? Now this statement in itself will return a Boolean value, right? So I can just say if CSK in IPL, then CSK is there. Or yeah, CSK is not there, right? So if I just run this now, it is saying CSK is there. So this CSK in IPL is returning a Boolean value, and based on that, if it returns true, it will go inside it. If it is not, then it will give an else. Now again, else statement is optional. If you don't give it, then just if will be executed. If it is true, then if will be executed. If it is not true, it will not go inside and nothing will happen then. But if you give else, either of one will always be executed. Either it will give in if, because this can be either true or false, right? If it is true, it will go inside. If it is false, then it will go in else anyway. Okay, great. Now let's say I want to give more conditions, right? So I'm just here, I'm just checking fail or pass, but I want to give the division also, that it is third division, second division, first division, right? So I have to give multiple conditions. So for that we have else if, right? So I can say else if, and again the condition. I'm saying if it is less than 30, then it is fail. Okay. Now I will say marks greater than equal to 30 and marks less than equal to 60, right? Or less than 60, then again I have to press a colon, say print pass with second division, right? Okay. And then I want to give one more, let's say, I'll just copy this and I will add one more else if. I will say if it is greater than or equal to 60, less than 75, right? Then I will say pass with first division. Okay. Else, so if it is less than 30, it will go here. If it is between 30 and 60, it will go here. If it is 60 and 70, it will go here. Otherwise, it can be more than 75. So I will say pass with distinction. Right? Or you can write a else if again and greater than 75. That is also fine. But we know that if nothing there, then it will be more than 75 only. So I can say pass with distinction. Okay. Now let's give our marks. So currently we are giving 40. Okay. And pass with second division, right? 40 falls in this, right? So it will fall in this. Let's give 80. So it will fall in the else condition. And pass with distinction, right? So you can give anything, right? If I give some negative number, right, that will also work. So it will fall in the first one. Marks are minus 20 and it is fail. Okay, again, you can give as many conditions as we discussed for the Boolean value. And again, you can give all or whatever. You can give mix also, and all mix. That also works. The only criteria is whatever statement you are giving here should return a Boolean value. So you can try it out first. Whatever is your condition, if it is returning Boolean value, you are good to put in the if all else statements. Okay, great. Any doubts in the files?
No, Ankit.
Great. Okay. Again, if else also we will be using a lot, right? For when we write a lot of programs, lot of challenges, we will see they are very powerful and we can work with them, in list, dictionaries or strings or anything.
We use only if and else more, right, Ankit, rather than if else.
Else if also, if we want multiple conditions to check, we have to run else if, right? So it depends on use case. We will be using else if also. Okay. So this is to control the flow, right? I want to control the flow that if this, then this, if this, then this, like that. Right? So let's see. So for example, let's say you are a prime customer in Amazon, right? So for your maybe delivery fees will be 0, right? So in backend, what they will do, they will check. If the customer is prime customer, then delivery fees is 0. If it is not, then delivery fees is 50, right? So this is an example of if else statement, right? Okay. Now this is my control flow, but next thing we are going to discuss is loops, right? Now, many times what happens in your program, you want to run a same set of code multiple times, right? And that is where loops come into the picture. Like, for example, many people ask, let's say I want to apply some function to the each element of the list, right? So I have to go to the each element. Either I can go manually, right? I can do, let's say my list is this, equal to or num equal to 1, 2, 3, right? What I can do, I will go to num 0 and say num 0 into 2, right? This will give me square of this, and I will create a new list. Let's say num square, and I will assign the 0th element, this one, right? So this will give me num square 0th element will be num 0 square, right? So I have to first declare this as an empty list, right? So if I run this now,
Ankit, your voice is breaking.
I have to do append, sorry, my bad. Append. Okay, so if I look at num square now, it is 1, right? Now what I want to do, I want to add second element, all the elements. So I have to do one more time this, that num1, run this, so enter. And if I look at my num square again, I have one more element. So I have to check how many elements are there, and I have to, what I have to do, I have to run this multiple times, right? So let's say there are 100 or 200 elements in this list, right? So I have to type this 100 times or 200 times, right? Not good, right? And I will have to check what is the length. So this is not a good way of doing things, right? We cannot do it. So for that, we have loops. Loop means I can iterate the same process. What is same process here? To each element, I'm squaring the value. That is all I'm doing. So if I want to iterate the same thing, right, multiple times, I can use loops, right? So let's try to do this using loops. Okay, so let's discuss while loop first. So we have two kinds of loop, while loop and for loop, right? Let's do while. Okay, so what I'm going to do, so it starts like this, while, okay, I'm initiating a integer 0 for now. I'll show you how I can use it. Something while, right, n is less than 5, right? Again, similar to if, right, you give a condition in while, and then you have to give colon, print, it is less than 5. Okay, it is less than 5. It is still less than 5, let's say. Okay, so what this loop is doing, the while loop will run until this condition is satisfied. This is again a boolean, right? N is less than 5, it will return a boolean, right? So my n equal to 0 currently, right? And n is less than 5, it is returning true. So this is returning true, so it will go inside it. Okay, and it will print it is still less than 5. Then it will again check. It is still less than 5. It will keep running it for the infinite loops, right? Because n will always be less than 5. I am not changing n, right? So what I will do now, I will say n equal to n plus 1. Okay, so what will happen? N will start with 0. It will check. If 0 is less than 5, yes, it will print, and it will make n equal to n plus 1. So n will become 1 now. Then again it will go 1 is less than 5, yes. Again it will go 2, 3, 4. The moment it says 5 less than 5 false, this loop will stop. This is how while loop works. Until and unless this statement is true, it will keep running multiple times, and then it will stop the moment this condition is false. Okay, so let's run this. If you see how many times it is printed, right? Let me print n as well. It is still less than 5. Iteration number, and let's put n. Okay, and run this again. Okay. You see, it is running till iteration number 4, right? The moment, so till 4 it has run. Now it will become n equal to n plus 1, which is 5, right? Now 5 is less than 5, no. So it is out of the loop, and that's it.
So, Ankit, can you just also print the ID of n?
Yeah, we are printing 1, 2, 3 here last.
So n will start with 0. So shouldn't be there at 1?
No, 0 will be there, right? For the first iteration.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And
0
what
will be there.
And what will be for the second iteration? It will be 1, right?
Right. 1 second. Yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, till 4.
Yeah. And it will be iterating for 5 times. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 5 lines in the print statement. Okay. So while loop works like that, there is a Boolean condition. It will just keep checking loop after loop, loop after loop, loop after loop. If I don't give this, it will run an infinite loop, right? And you have to interrupt the program and cancel it. But you can do that, right? So to stop it, you have to just assign some value, some new value, so that after whatever your work is done, it should stop automatically. Okay. Now let's say I want to run it on a list. Okay. So let's create a list. That's what we wanted, right? We wanted the square of all this. So we have the num already. We will use the num, right? Num is 1, 2, 3. Now what I want to do, I want to create a new list, right? Num square, and which will be appended with the square of each element. Okay. Now, first of all, what I have to do? I have to do is how many times I should run? It should run with the less than number, the length of the list, right? So what is the length of the list? So length is num 3, right? So it will run for 0, 1, 2. So what I will say, while n is less than length of num, right? So it starts with 0. So it will run for 0. Then I'm making it plus 1. So it will run for 1, and then it will run for 2. The moment it comes for 3, it will fail, right? Because length is 3. Right? Now, what I want to do next? I have to do anyway. So I have a new list, right? Num square. Let's create it again. Enter. So there is an empty list, and I'm going to say, instead of this, right? I will say num square dot append, right? Now, instead of 0, I will just say n, right? So for the first iteration, n is 0. So it will take num 0 and it will square it and append it to the num square list. Just look at this code for a moment, right? What I did, whatever hard coding we were doing, I just copy pasted it here. And instead of this index 0, I'm passing this index n, right? I'm passing a variable, right? So it is 0. So for the first iteration, it is 0, right? So it will go here and it will square it and append it to the num square list, right? Again, it will become 1 now. 0 plus 1 is 1. So it will check if 1 is less than 3, the length of it is 3, right? Length of our list, right? And again, it will go and do this. And let's run this now. Okay. So if I print num square, I have 1 for now. Now I don't care how many elements are there in my list, right? Even if hundreds are there, I just have to write this code. This code will run for 100 elements or 1000 elements or 1 million elements, right? So this is the power of loops. If you want to repeat something multiple times, the same code you want to apply multiple times, just put it in loops, put your condition, and that's it. Okay, again, you can give AND condition or condition. The only condition is this condition should return a Boolean value. And based on that, it will identify if it is a true or false. If it is true, it will keep running the loop. If it is false, it will come out the loop. Simple.
Ankit, can we use this power function under this append function?
Yeah,
Like
power
you
function.
have, yeah.
Absolutely. We can use power function as well. So instead of this, you want to do power of 2. Anything is fine. This will also work. So let's take this here and let's run this. Okay. And if I print num square again, it is the same thing. You can use anything.
Hey, Ankit, one doubt. So, so it started with n is equal to 0, right?
Right.
So
Right.
then it will see that that 0 is less than the length.
Yes.
So it has printed the first statement. Then after that, will it just go to the next line, that num square dot?
Yes. So okay. Again, anything you are giving, right? Within the tab. So all the lines will be executed.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
loop will start. Yeah. So
Sure,
all
sure.
three
So-
lines will be executed, then next station of loop. Then again all the lines will be executed, then next
Sure,
iteration of
sure. So now num square dot append where num n is
0.
It's saying num n is 0. So it's taking the 0th value of the list and then squaring that.
Right. Right. And we are appending
Sure.
it to a new list.
New list. So one. Okay.
Yeah. Now you want to apply any operation to all the elements of list, you can just run a loop, apply to each element and create a new list. That's it.
Right.
Okay. Great. Okay. This is a good way of applying a loop over a list, but we have a better way. Okay. So in this the problem is I have to always refer to the index value. I mean, if I want to run over the list, I have to say num0, num1, num3. I mean, it is fine, not so much hassle, but we have a better way, which is for loops. Okay. For loops are very cool, and mostly I'm telling you 90% of the time when you use loop, you will be using for loops. The simplicity and the very easy to interpret and write as well. Okay. So let's write the same thing using loop. Oh, sorry, for loop. Whatever we have done, now we will do it using for loops. Okay. Okay, great. So now what I will say for, so this is how the syntax is again. For num and in, okay, num. So here I'm directly giving my list. Num is my list, right? You see, num is a list, right? So I'm directly saying for n in num and then colon, nothing else. This is not a Boolean statement. Okay. I'm just saying for n in num, I'll tell you what is happening here. And then I will select the I'm just doing this for now. Okay. I'm saying for n in num and n. Okay. What it will do is it will pick one element at a time. So it will go to the 0th index, right, and assign it to n. Then it will pick second element in the second iteration and assign it to n. For the first iteration, the value of n is 1.
Ankit, sorry for interruption. Actually, often your voice goes missing. Could you please start again from starting from for loop?
Is it for everyone? Just wanted to check.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about it. I will check my this one speaker. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So num square again, I'm just emptying it, and now I'm running a for loop, right? In for loop, what I'm doing is I'm just saying n in num. Okay. What will happen? It will go to the each element. So for example, we have the 3 elements, right? 1, 2, 3 in my list. Okay. So what it will do, n in num, it will assign 1 to n for the first iteration. So n's value will be 1. Now second iteration 2, it will assign 2 to this variable n. Then again 3, it will assign it to n. Now after that nothing is there, so loop will stop automatically. I don't have to give any condition to stop it. It will just iterate through it. If the list is ended, then it will just stop. Okay, so let me run this. So if you see 1, 2, 3, right? So n, first element is 1, so it will ascend to n, and we are printing that, right? As simple as that. The moment all the elements are done, list is done, there is no more element, the loop will automatically stop. Okay, now let's do this, whatever we were doing. I'll just copy this and put it here, and I'm saying append. Now what should be the change here? Can someone tell me what should I change here to achieve the same?
Ankit, it
Directly
should
in the
be
value of n.
num. Okay.
Num or n?
No.
N,
Only
n.
Should be
n, rather
n.
than
Only
passing
n.
it
Should be
We have
only
to
n.
give one.
we
Right.
need not
So
to
n,
provide the
in
index.
n we already have. So whatever we were doing using this, right? Num 0. That value already we have in n now. So we don't have to do any indexing. The n is already that first value is there, right? And let's run this now. Okay, and let's see our list. See, it is so cool, so easy, right? Compared to while, it is so easy. You don't have to check the length, right? No need. It will just iterate.
So that
Right.
does this for loop also do this auto increment, Ankit?
It is not auto increment. It is just you can say it is auto increment. It will just pick first element, then second, then third. It will directly pick the value instead of identifying the index and then going to the index. It will directly put the first 0th index value for the first iteration in n, and in second iteration the index value 1 will go to n, and like that until the list ends.
So suppose in the same code, Ankit, we are not means I want the element in the sequence, means in the alternate way I want. So how we can do that?
Yeah.
Then you will have to use the while loop, right? If you want to play with the, the position of the indexes, right? Then you will have to play with the while loop. But if you want to, because you need index, then what is the index? And you want fifth index first. But this will run from 0th value, then first index, then second, then third in that order only.
Ankit, we can
Or
give
you change the order
step
in your
one,
list.
step 1, step 2, we can give with the for loop, right?
Sorry?
We can increase the step. If alternate is required, we can give the step 2.
Okay, you are saying only alternate is required. Yeah, that we can do. We'll see. So you are saying instead of 1, 2, 3, you just want 1 and 3, right? Yeah, that we can do. We'll see. We can do. Using if else we can do.
Okay, so one more thing, if I may ask, can you write another for loop within a for loop?
Yeah, we can write. We can
Can
write
you
for
say
loop within a
something?
for loop we can write. And similarly, when we discuss if condition, there also we can do within if we can give more if else conditions. So nested if, nested loops are all allowed.
Just one thing mentioned here. So here for n in num, so we are iterating through the numbers. Okay, each element
List.
of the list. We can also
Right.
iterate in the loop for index wise. Suppose for I in just in range function we used and find the length, and
Yeah,
in that way
we can do that.
yes.
We
So
can do that. Yeah.
that give the flexibility to means skip the element as well.
Okay, we'll come to it. Yeah, we'll come to it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is my simple for loop, right? And now this is iterating through the list. Now, as I said, that we can also iterate. Let's say I want to iterate 10 times. I have a fix something I want to do. So we have a range function as well. So I will say for
Ankit, can you
in
explain? Ankit,
range. Yeah,
can you explain for loop once again?
yeah. I will explain it. Don't worry. I will explain one more time. Okay. So there is a function range. Okay. I'm saying range 5. So what it will give, it will return a range of value from 0 till 4, not 5. Okay. And then if I say print and let's run this. So what it is doing, it is giving me a range of value from 0 till 4, right? And then it is printing it. 5 will be skipped. It is always the case with the Python, right? It skips the last one. Okay. So if you want to replicate exactly what we did in the while loop, right, we can do like this. So I'll just take this code and okay. So I will say num square equal to append power of num n, right? Now here, how many elements till where I should go? Again, length of my num, right? So I will say range length of the num. So length of the num is 3. So it will give me 0, 1, 2, right? And then it will iterate. So first n will be 0, right? And it will go to 0. Now here I don't have to give n equal to n plus 1 because it is iterating through the values 0, 1, 2, right? So my range is basically, it is, you can consider it as a list which has 3 elements, right? 0, 1, 2. Now when I say n in range length num, basically it is iterating through these numbers. So the first iteration n is 0, or the second iteration n is 1, and the third iteration n is 3, right? So I can just remove this. N equal to n plus 1 is not required. That was required only for while loop. Here it is not required and I can just do this. Okay. So let me
Could you
take
please
this.
explain why is that? Like I'm absolute beginner in Python, so I don't understand all these things.
Yeah. 1 second. I'll just explain again. Okay. And if I see num square again, you see 149. Okay. Let me explain in Excel now the for loop. Okay. So many people are studying. So let's have a simple form of for loop. Okay. So we are
Like why there
understanding
is
for loop.
need to write n equals to n plus 1 and not for loops.
Yes. For loop, it is a different kind of thing we are doing. We are iterating through the elements, right? Here there was no element. It is just a condition that this should be less than num. So that's why we have to increase it.
And one more thing, Ankit, regarding this in while loop, right? You have mentioned this indexing, right? While passing this n number. And but in the for loop, you did not mention. So what is the difference? Why is it really required in while loop, but not required in for loop?
Right, exactly. It is not it is required in while loop n equal to n plus 1, but it is not required here. I will explain again.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about this n plus 1 auto increment, Ankit. I'm talking about when you are appending the data into the list, right? You are passing this num and this in the bracket, you are passing this n number. So rather than can we pass directly n in while loop also?
No.
Why? Just one. Yeah, can you please explain over here?
Yeah, I will explain it. Okay. So let's understand the for loop and then I will go back to the while loop again.
Sure,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, so you are iterating through some elements. Let's say 1, 2, same example. Okay. So this is your list num. Okay, it has 3 elements, right? First element is 1, 2, 3. I'm just putting into the 3 cells, but we have 3 elements. Okay. Num is our list which has 3 elements. Now I'm writing a loop for n in num. Okay. And then I'm just printing, let's say print n. So what is happening here? Let me explain it. So when I say for n in num, what is going to happen? It will iterate through each element of the list. So we have 3 elements. So when I say n is num, our iteration 1, what it will do, it will assign this one value to n, right? So it will say internally, it will assign this n equal to 1. So it will pick up the first element and say n equal to 1. Okay, right? And if I'm doing, let's say, I'm doing a, let's copy this. Okay. Okay, so what it will do is, there is a new list, right? Num square, which is empty currently, right? Currently it is empty num square. So it will append, it will append. So what it will do, what is n? N is 1, right? So in our list, what will be the value? So this is my new list. 1 ka square is 1. So it will append 1. right? So this is my num square and this is my num. So this is my num list and this is my num square. Okay. So this is my first iteration. Now what it will do? It will go to the second iteration. And in second iteration, what it is going to do? It will go to the second element and assign it to again n, right? This is what I'm saying, n in num, right? So n equal to 1 for the first iteration. Second iteration, whatever is the value, the value is 2. So it will assign n equal to 2, right? Again, if I do square of it, it will become 4, right? So first element is 4, sorry, 1. Second element is 4 of my new list, num square. Now again, it will go to the third iteration because element is there still. Iteration 3, right? And then this time n equal to 3. And again, what I'm doing, I'm just doing a square of 3. It is 9. And my new list will be 149. Okay. Let's understand if, let's say I have a list of teams, right? Let's say CSK, MI. I can iterate through this as well, right? Let's say I want a new list which contains the length of each of this element, right? I want the length of CSK. What is the length of the CSK? Length of MI, length of RCB, right? What I will do, I'll just go here, right? And say append. Please go on mute, everyone. Okay. If n is confusing you, you can just put team as well. For team, so team is become a new variable, and I will say team in num. Okay, so then team, right, and append length of team. Okay. Now again, let's do this exercise. Okay. So for iteration one, this is my team, right? For team in num, right? So num is mi CSK mi RCB. So for the first element, it will pick CSK and it will assign it to the n. So n equal to CSK now, or team, sorry. Team equal to CSK. Right? Team is CSK, and what I want, I'm saying append the length of team. So it will become 3. So it will append 3, the first element in our num square list. Okay. Now it will pick second element mi and will assign to team, right? So second, the team equal to now RCB, right? The length is again 3. Sorry, second is mi. I will give mi, right? And the length is 2, right? Now for the third iteration, it will pick RCB and assign it to the team. So team will be now RCB, right? And length of it will be again 3, and it will be appended over this num square. So each value is getting assigned to the variable. So this is my variable team and this is my list. So each element of the list one by one will be assigned to this variable team. Each loop, it will just go to the next. Are we clear with the for loop now?
So Ankit, here you have to declare the team variable first, right? So how will you declare it?
No need to declare actually. It automatically declares it when you do this Python.
Okay. I mean, when you say for team in num, so it refers to the index or?
No, it is referring to the value directly. That's what we saw, right? This MI, RCB, and CSK are values, right? So team becomes CSK. In the team variable, you have the CSK for the first iteration. For the second iteration, the variable name is MI. For the variable, the value is MI. For the third iteration, the value of team is RCB. It is not the index. It is the value actually.
But one question here, but if, for example, if you go back
Team
to
is here is a list. Yes.
Yeah. No, not team is not a list. Num is a list. Team is a variable.
So Ankit, actually in while loop, n is referring to the index, but
We will
in
go to
for
the while
loop,
loop later. We will go to the while loop later. Any doubt in for loop?
Yeah, so Ankit, while loading the data in list, right, or we can say appending the data in list using this for loop, how it is stored exactly? So does this follow the order like you
Yes.
iterating to the
Right, right.
list, right?
Exactly.
So in the same way, it
Exactly.
will append it.
Right, exactly. You see here 149 is coming. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then the num square is the square of each element. So it is in the same order. So when you append first, it will be go to the 0 index, then 1 index, then 2. Append, always append at the end, right? So if nothing is there, first element will go to 0th index, right? Second element will go to the first index, then third index.
Okay. So in for loop, you mean to say that indexing is not required. It will directly passing the data as per the variable, right? As per the elements. Okay.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Please explain this while loop concept because I am little bit confused over
Yeah.
here, like how the store data in index.
Right, but for loop is fine. Are we good?
Yeah.
Ankit, in last example, we have used the indexing in the for loop.
This one, right?
Yeah, in last line, power of num and
Because we are taking the range instead of we are not iterating through the list here. If you see, we are iterating through a range of values, and that's why I was just replicating whatever we do in while, how we can do in for. So that I just replicated. But you will not run your program in for loop like this. No need, right? You can directly throw the elements like this for n and num.
Okay.
Ankit, are we good for the day?
Yeah, it's 8:33. I didn't realize. Okay, that's fine. We can continue the loops tomorrow. Okay, I'll continue the while loop. Again, I will explain it and we'll give some problem assignments as well so that you can, start working with it. It is okay if it is absolutely not clear. Again, on the Tuesday session, we will again discuss the loops and move on to the functions.
Ankit, is it tomorrow or Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Ankit, one last question. So in the for loops here, when we are passing the range, you're getting the same results, and also if you're not passing the range, you're getting the same results, right? But in the range syntax, we are working on the index, not on the actual value, right?
Right. Ranges, we are working on index.
Right, but how the values output is coming same for both the types?
No, we are using index value now, man. Just like we did in while loop, numan, the same thing we are doing here, right? Numan.
No, I'm comparing the for loops.
You're comparing with this?
Yeah, I'm comparing with this one. Yeah, in this from 77 to 80, 77, 79 line, you're working on the actual values from the list, right?
Right.
And you're getting the 149 as output. But in the second scenario, when you're operating on a range, you're working on a index value, not on the actual number.
Right.
But that when you do the power of that index versus the actual value, the results should be different, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. In for loop, it is not an index. It is directly values assigned to this variable n.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That is clear understanding as I also have. But in the second scenario, you are working. You are doing the operation on the index value.
It is because
the range.
So I'm taking the so the n will be 0 for the first time, right?
Okay, understood. We are
It is
passing the
because the
index to the
list
index
is
and
only
getting the
0, 1.
value from
Num
it.
0 will give you the first value.
Okay.
Here I am directly using this variable n, but here this variable used as an index.
So I think whenever we use any functions, right, like range or length, then at that time this will behave like indexing, right, while appending the data. Correct me if I'm wrong.
If you are running on a range or a range of values, it is index basically. If you directly run on a, so we will run this loop on the dictionaries as well, right? So directly that key value will come to the variable. We will see it in the next class. So when you do a for loop and in num, it can be any data structure, tuple, list, dictionary. The first in the first iteration, first value will assign to this variable. No indexing, nothing. It is just whatever is there at the index 0, that value will be assigned to n. In the second iteration, whatever values there index 1 will be assigned to n, and so on.
Correct. So Angit, in the line number 84, here it is for n in range of length of num, right? Here the value of num is 1, 2, 3. So the length will be 3, right?
Right.
So
length will be 3.
yeah, so for the 84th line, the last condition will be the range will be n is equal to 3, right?
No. So range give you, so when I say range 3, it will give you 0, 1, 2.
Okay, 1, 2 only.
So Ankit, it is a little bit easier for all of us if you explain the parameter of the range function, then it is clear for most of the people.
So range function, if you give range 5, right? So it will give you elements from 0 till 4.
Oh, yes. So there are 3 steps in it. Means the starting means initializing value of the variable, and that means where we have to stop value, and the step with which we want to increase the value of the variable. So in that way, if you explain, then it is easier for means most of the participants.
Okay, fine, I got it.
Just
So
my suggestion.
yeah, that is fine. But for now, what we were seeing is if we give range 5, it will give you a list from 0 to 4. That's it.
Oh, yes.
It will not give you 5. It will give you a list of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So when I run this, you will see. Let's run this. So see, it is starting from 0. I'm printing this n, right? For the first iteration, it is 0, then 1, then 2. Length is 3, which means it will give 0, 1, 2.
Okay, the same with the condition for while loop also, right?
So while loop,
yeah. So can
it
you
is a
go to
Boolean
that?
condition. It is a Boolean condition. It is iterating over each element here. But in while loop, it is not iterating over each element. It is just we are checking if n is less than num, and we are only increasing n equal to n plus num. But here in for loop, we don't have to increase.
Okay, so here also the condition is n less than length of num. That means the length of num could come like 3, but actually it will be right. The last element will be 2, right?
Right, 0, 1, 2. But the moment it says 3, 3 less than 3, it is not right. So it will just come out.
Okay.
Okay, great. Spend some time. I think there is some confusion between for and while loop.
Ankit,
That is
I'm
absolutely.
still Ankit, I'm still a bit confused with for loops. And actually, when you explain this in Excel, you wrote print statement after the for and in like that, and in this console you write print after that, like on the after the using that function you used. Go back to line number here. Go back to this line number 80. You wrote print in the last, right? But in the Excel, when you explain, you wrote print in the second line.
That doesn't matter. You print first and append later, or append first, print later. It doesn't matter here, right? So in this case, it will append first and then print.
Actually? Yeah, please explain.
Yeah. So what is happening is whatever is in the for loop, all those lines will be executed for each iteration, right?
Okay, then wherever we write print, it won't matter, right?
Right. So what will happen in this case? It will just append in the list first and then print. If you put print first, then it will print first and then append. It doesn't matter actually.
Okay.
It doesn't matter at all here. In this case, it doesn't matter. We are just printing. So we can print before the append or after the append. It is all same.
So Ankit, I have a question. Can I ask right now?
Yeah, you can ask now. We are done with the class. We can have some doubts.
Okay. So Ankit, suppose I am just trying in my editor. So suppose I have created one list. Okay. And the first, there are 3 elements in the list. The first 2 elements are the integer, and third element is a tuple, okay, which contain two items, 100 and 200. And when I want to change the item of the tuple, it is giving the error.
Yeah,
But
tuple are immutable, right?
okay, but it is inside the listener.
So what? The third element is a tuple. So you cannot change the tuple.
Okay. And I do the same thing. So under the tuple, I put a list and just try to change the value of the list. Then it is run successfully.
Yeah, list it will modify.
Okay. So it is directly depend upon the which element I am operating.
Right.
Ankit, I was trying to replicate what you did in Excel, created a list and created another list by taking out the length of the names. So somehow like rest is fine, but somehow I'm not able, the length of names is not coming correct for me.
Can you copy your code, paste your code here?
Yeah. Okay.
Ankit, is it compulsory if we like in the 85th line you have given that format function, right? So is it necessary to give this variable in curly braces?
You can do plus as well, but if you want to use this formatting literals, you have to give in curly braces. Otherwise, you can do plus normal concatenation. Right?
No, I'm asking about like if you give formatting, then
Yeah, you have
is
to
it
give
compulsory to use
yes.
mention the variable in the curly braces?
Right.
Okay.
But that I've copied my code on chat.
Sorry, Ankit, but in the strings and list and all, when we defined with the format, we were using a round brackets, not the curly one.
For list, it is a square brackets. For dictionary, it has to be the curly flower brackets. Okay, so you are saying num1 is this your team, right? A list. And then length of team. For I in num1, print I. Okay, again, it has to be I, right? So each value will be assigned to I. So for the first iteration, CSK will be assigned to I. Second iteration, MI super will be assigned to Y. Third iteration, ICB will be assigned to Y. And then you can do this. Right?
Okay. But somehow it is giving result for length name1 as well.
So the length of name1 is 3 actually. You will be getting 3 all of them.
Oh, for the length of the list. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ankit, just one thing, like suppose in a dictionary, if there is a list, a particular value becomes a list. Say in the earlier like IPL example, if the list of the players. Now, if I want to accept, get a particular player, like that list, like say 0th player or first player that are based on index. So can I do it at once? Like say, CSK is my key. Based on that, I'll get the list of players. So from that, can I take out like say second index? How can
Right,
I
you
do
can
that?
take out. So
Okay.
I think I showed it. Let's go up.
Okay, because I was trying like
So here we did, right? If you see, CSK has captain MSD and Jadeja, right? Okay, so if I just execute this again, so this is my IPL 1 now, right?
Yes.
So what you are saying, let's get IPL CSK, right? This is what you will get.
Yes.
Now within this, what I want captain. I will say captain, right? So now it is a list. Now you can give index.
Okay.
So you always go one by one. If you try to write full statement at once, it might be confusing initially. Later you will do it, but initially when you are learning, go one by one, like I did, right? First CSK, okay, this is CSK. Now again, within that captain, within that index. So it will be easy to go inside that.
Okay, actually, I was using dot after every square bracket. Like I was confused. Like when we use, sometimes we use like square bracket dot the next square bracket. I was.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, Ankit, I have a question. So, in the while loop, this particular loop iterates until this statement becomes false, right? So, in
Right.
for loop, how it will determine that that condition goes to false?
It will just check the length maybe internally, right? Internally, it will check. It will just go till the length of the string or dictionary and it will just stop. But internally, it is doing. We don't have to care about it.
So,
It will
till it
iterate
checks
for the
for
each
that length.
element one by one. That's it.
Okay, okay. So, it will check for length internally and it will pick the values that we
Until
give.
then. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Ankit.
Yeah.
I just need one suggestion. Can I use the Jupyter notebook for throughout
Can
the
use.
course? It won't
You
matter
can
for the
use.
future modules, right?
Yeah. You can use Jupyter Notebook, Spider, PyCharm, whatever suits you, use it. It doesn't matter at all.
Okay, thank you.
It is just the interface is different. Otherwise, everything else is same. The concepts and everything is same. It is just the interface is different. You can use anything.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Ankit, regarding Jupyter Notebook, I tried setting up the environment, but it was not picking up that Python in the background. So, is there any like tutorial kind of thing to set up the
Okay,
Jupyter?
I'll just attach a link. I will just find it out, and in the same place on the Driven folder, I will attach it how to do Jupyter.
Okay, one last question. Version, just check the version, I think. Whenever you are installing Jupyter. Because it refers to a particular version of Python.
So suppose there is a dictionary wherein the first key is the numbers and the numbers are displayed in a particular list from 0 to 10. And in the second one is also square numbers with respect to 2, 4 and whatever the squares are, like 10 digits over there. And we want to again square both of those. So do we need to write two for loops in that case, or only single for loop will suffice?
So you have a dictionary, you are saying, right?
Right.
Okay, this is the dictionary, let's say IPL1. Now, what you want in this?
Yeah, so the what I want is that CSK, for example, there's name and Chennai Super Kings, captain MSD Jadeja.
Right.
So for
right.
name, I want to fetch the length. For captain, I want to fetch the length. So in that way, because for every key, one for loop will run, right?
Right.
So in that
You're
case,
right.
there will be two for loops.
So what I have to do? Yeah, I have to run loop on the first dictionary and then on the second dictionary. So that will be nested loop.
So but the inner for loop will be for which key? The first one or the second one, subsequent one? I mean, for the name or the
For the
captain?
first loop, the first iteration will take CSK. Second iteration will take MI for the first upper loop, outer loop. For the inner loop, this is your dictionary, right? So it will run two times. The first time it will be name and the second type captain.
Okay, so the okay.
But we will discuss in the next session the looping over dictionaries. We have not discussed, right?
Thank you.
So that is fine. You can work with list for now.
Thanks.
Okay.
And Ankit, we are able to define like inside the list we can define inside tuples and dictionary we design like tuples. We can do that way.
What we can define? Sorry, didn't get you.
Means mm, uh, previously someone asked like in a list we have a tuples and in a dictionary we have a list. So we can
Right.
do like that.
We are doing that. So it is a dictionary and within that we have a list.
Okay, so the operation will be applied only for this dictionary. If any performance we are going to operation we are going to do that all the list operation we can do there.
Right. So for example, here when I say IPL1 CSK captain, right?
Yeah.
This will return you a list. Right? We are going CSK and then captain of CSK. And then it is a list, then you can perform any list operation on top of it.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ankit, one question. So, can we make a list of the keys inside the dictionary to retrieve only the list of keys?
We'll do that when we will discuss dictionary loops and all in the next session. We can do all of this. Yeah, we can do that.
Hi, Ankit. Ankit, actually, is there a way to input a list basically from the user, or we have to use
No.
split function? Yeah.
You have to use a split function.
Okay.
You have to use a split function. Also, like you were asking, someone was asking that can we have the keys, right? So you just, whenever you are in doubt, right, just type your variable dot. It will give you all the functions. So there is a function called keys, right? And it doesn't expect any argument. Self is itself. So I will just say keys, and it should give me the all the keys. So it is giving me these are the dictionary keys. CSKMIRCB. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So IPL is, very, there are a lot of things, right? So you have to explore yourself whenever you are in doubt. Okay. Great.
Ankit, just last question. Can I just share my screen once?
Yeah. 1 second. I have to give you the access. You are money.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, just 1 second. Is it visible? My screen
Yes.
is my screen.
Yes.
Okay, so I was just playing around with range and so when I just so this was the variable like list which I chose, and I just print 1 in range len team. It gave me a result true, and when I did the same for like without range using range and len, it gave me the same result true. While if I just I had this function not list little script prepared, and if I did the same like I have this num k which has this list of values, and when I input just ran loop for loop on this, it gave me an error. I'm not sure why is this happening.
Why you have you are saying num kn? It is saying is present in the number is present in the list out of range. It is saying.
Yeah. But
So what is your list? List is how many elements are there? 9.
Your n will be 9, right?
Yeah.
Your n value will be 9, so it is showing you out of range. That means it is
You
not.
need to provide just n instead of num k.
The index is n-1, right? So 0 to 8 only we can pick.
No, but my question is like I just what I have done this like 1 in team. I just did the same thing here. Like I have this n which would be of course running from 0. Why is it giving me this error? Is it because
it is because in the second program it is an index. It is just a range from 0 till 9, right?
Okay.
So you are picking 0, 1, 2. You are picking those indexes. But in the above one, you are picking the values from the list. So you are picking 1 itself. In your n, the first value is not 0. First value is 1. But in your second program, first value is 0.
okay? Acha, okay. If I just replace it with 5.
In your for loop, it is line number 40, right? It is exceeding your range. So 9 is not present in index.
9 is not there. It is still 8 there. Num ke 8 will be present.